Okay, so who can tell me what volume is? Or where would you have seen volume in your life? When you think of volume, what does it mean? Where do you see it? Or give me products or stuff like that that might have volume included. Space in an object. Good. So you're right. Volume is the amount of space in the object. The most relevant one for you guys, probably like drinks, pop and things like that. Like my cup, as it looks like I'm holding nothing. Oh, there we go. No. Anyways, my cup is considered volume. How much is in there? If you go get a Pepsi, how much Pepsi's in there? I wouldn't say a bag of chips is volume. That's more weight. But if we filled that bag of chips with as much as possible, then that would be volume. All right. So here's my question for you. There's two types of shapes. There's prisms, and generally there's pyramids. Okay. We also have some that don't really. Well, let's go prisms and non-prisms. Okay. Let me get rid of this. All right. So I want you to help me out, and let's sort these into prisms and non-prisms. Okay? What do you say? I'll highlight them with the green marker. So which ones, I'll label them first. Here we go. Let's write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Which ones do you think are prisms? Tell me which one do you think are prisms? Number 2, prism. Andrew, go ahead. Number 5, good. Number 2, number 5. Anyone else have a prism up there? Included with that is number 7 and number 1. Okay? So a prism, if you think about it, think about a prism like a loaf of bread. Okay, like a perfect square of bread. So if I were to draw a loaf of bread, I would be a much better artist. But if you can picture, here's my perfect loaf of bread. Okay? And if you take a slice out of that loaf, anywhere from the start to the end, that slice, if I could cut it properly, should be the exact same slice no matter where I slice it. It would be the exact same slice. Okay? Anything I can take a slice of, anywhere along the lines, take a chunk out of it, and it's equal anywhere else, it's a prism. So if you think about it like this shape here, if you think about a pop can, if a pop can was perfect, I could cut a chunk out of the pop can here, and that chunk would be the same as the chunk I get here. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, no, maybe so? So does that make sense that if I take a chunk out of here, if I take a slice, if I slice this right here, it'd be the same slice as here. Okay? Because then if we take a look at the other items, how come they don't have red? It's amazing. If we take a look at these items, if I take a slice out of the sphere right here, and I take a slice out of the sphere right there, they're going to be very different slices, because the slice here is smaller than the slice in the middle. Just as if I take this slice here, correct? You think about it like this is an ice cream cone. How much ice cream can fit in this spot here is not the same amount of ice cream that fits in the top of the cone. But if I were to take something like this, it's the same amount of ice cream here as it is here. Okay? So that's the difference between a prism and a pyramid or a 3D object. So prism, object has two identical bases. A pyramid, object has one base and one apex. Now the sphere doesn't really matter here. That's why I took away, a pyramid comes to a point. Okay? So, it's important that, how would I say this? It's important that we can, I'm not real concerned with names. I just want to make sure we can recognize. Oops, how come I went back to 3? This is 5, this is 6, and this is 7. Okay? We need to be able to recognize each shape. So when we go back and look at our table right here, which is giving away the answers right now, so I'm going to get rid of that. I want you can pick any number, especially that ugly 6, which I'll get rid of. And I want you to write me the name in chat. You can pick any one of these shapes. And just write, like, if you know what number 7 is, go 7 dash, then write me that shape. Okay? And then I'll fill them in as you write them in. So I have number 2 as a cylinder. 4 is a cube, good. 4 cube, 1 sphere. 4 square-based, okay, square-based prism, yeah. 1 sphere, 6 is a pyramid. What's so special about number 6? What's special about number 6? I'm still looking, I'll go back to rectangular prism here. Good. It's a square-based pyramid. You see how those lines there? That tells me that they're all the same. Okay? Good. Not quite. Let me look here. Did we ever get a 3? 3 is a cone. Good. Oops. What's 7? 7, the last part is prism. You can tell me what kind of prism that is. Oh, I missed some here. Triangular prism. Sorry, I was up top a little bit. totally butchered that as I was typing it. So I was up looking at other chat. Perfect. As you guys all scream triangular prism at me. Perfect. Alright, so we know our shapes. Now what we have to do now is we have to learn how to apply our formulas. So here is, maybe I'll make this smaller. Here's our formulas right here. Okay? This is in your, okay, this may seem a little choppy, but my recording went away. So, sometimes when you use formulas, you're going to have to label different aspects of it. So in this case, we're looking at a triangular prism. Okay? And we're looking for B, H, and L. But more specifically, this means the base, the height, and the length. So if we take a look at this triangle over here, the base for this triangle is going to be 24. The height of the triangle is 7, and the length of the triangle is 22. Okay? Base, height, length. Now we're moving to a cone here, and for this we need 3 things. The R, the H, and the S. Now your R is the radius. Now remember, radius is halfway across the circle. Sometimes it might give you the diameter, which is all the way. Diameter goes all the way across. Okay? So if you ever get that, you have to take your diameter and divide it by 2 to equal your radius. Okay? So in this case, our radius is right here. Then we have our height, right? So from the tip to the middle of your circle, so our height's going to be right here. And lastly, our slant, which is right here. Okay, and you see slant a bunch. Once again, it shows up here with our pyramid. That's our slant. Ooh, why did I put a T on slant? So this is our slant. This length right here. It's our slant. The next one we have is our height. You see the height comes from halfway through. So our height looks like this. And last we have our base, which is here. Now this one here is a square base. That means this side is equal to this side. It goes all the way around there. Okay? I guess I could have drew slant through the middle here. You see how slant kind of runs along the side here. Okay? So here's an example here of a rectangular prism. So how many cubic feet of concrete is required to pour a pad measuring 10 by 10 by 1? Now it doesn't say by what it is, but we'll assume. I'll draw a sweep diagram here. We assume this is going to be 10 by 10 by 1. Okay? So I like to list what I have here. My volume formula is length times width times height. So I wonder what my length is, what my width is, and what my height is. So this is 10, my length. My width, my length is 10, my width is 10, and my height is 1. So I were to go back into my formula here, it's going to be 10 times 10 times 1. So that equals 100 feet cubed. Okay? So then, this question here, and we'll do word questions later on, so it's kind of a bit more advanced right now. If poured concrete costs this much per cubic yard, how much does it cost to pour concrete requiring 6 pads? Okay. So we know 1 pad is equal to 100 feet cubed. Okay. So if we're looking for 6 pads, we're going to multiply 100 feet times, that's 1 pad, so we need times it by 6. So 600 feet cubed will equal 6 pads. Now, I'm going to give you a sheet with your list here. Feet cubed and meters cubed. Oh, not meters cubed, yards. So, 1 foot cubed equals 0.037 yard cubed. So in order to transfer this over, we're going to have to multiply this. So I'm going to give you a conversion sheet. When we get back into school, you guys have lots of little sheets to work with. I do believe that's 22.2 yards cubed. Okay? So then, we know this how many yards cubed we have, and it costs 110. So 22.2 times 110 is going to equal our final number, right? Which is, was it 22.2 or was I just making that up? 0.37 times 600, okay, 22.2 times 110, $2,442 is that. Okay? Now the next question here is, we have 2 cans of tuna. Which one's the better buy? Okay? And for each of them, you're going to want more for your money here. So let's cover this one in blue. I'll do this one in orange. Okay? So you can see our formula here. Volume equals pi, it's right up here. Volume equals pi r squared times h. Remember, r squared is the same sign r times r. It times the number by itself twice. Not 2 times r, but r times r. So I'm going to do the first one first here. So if I take a look at this one, I like to write down what I know. I know my radius is 3. I know my height is 12. So my volume equals pi r squared h. So pi times 3 squared times 12. Here's my calculator. So I have my calculator here. For me to plug this in, I have my pi button here. You could also write 3.14, but if you have a pi button, that's fine. Times 3 squared, there's a little square button there, but if not, I always go times 3 times 3 times 12. That's going to give me 339 as my answer. if I were to do the orange one, my radius of my orange one is 6, but my height is 6. Okay. Same formula. Pi times 6 squared times 6. And here, I'll use an Apple calculator here, just in case you have an Apple. Okay? So, now, I'm going to find my pi button as well here. Here's my pi button on my Apple calculator. And to get this, just turn your calculator, your phone sideways. Pi times 6 squared times 6. 679. Okay, I'll redo that one real quick. So I start with my pi, which is the pi button. I'm going to multiply it by 6 squared, so I go 6. And you can see up here where it has the square, the little 2 above it. Hit that. Then multiply by 6. Times 6, and equal to get my final result. And I round it up because that's 5, so I'm going to round up to 9. So this one, which I just realized I did in a different color, is the best pi. Now this here says a basketball with a diameter of 18 inches is packed very tightly in a box. Determine the amount of open space. I'm trying to find this space here that's not taken up by the ball. And we assume since the box is tight, if the ball is 18 wide, that means this is 18, this is 18, and this is 18. Okay? I'm going to roll over this way. My son's looking for markers as quietly as he can. What color are you looking for, Finn?
Black.
Is there not any black in there?
Not the big one. No.
Alright. So in order to find the space in there, what we have to do is we're going to find the volume of our box, right? If you think of an empty box, then we're going to put the basketball in it, right? So we're going to minus off the volume of the basketball, okay? Because the basketball is going to take up space inside that box. So let's do the volume of the box first. So the volume formula is volume equals length times width times height. That's a horrible W. So what's my length, width, and height of this? Well, my length is 18, my width is 18, and my height is 18. So 18 down the line. So my volume is going to be 18 times 18 times 18. Got my calculator. 18 times 18 times 5832. Okay, so there's the volume of my box. Check. Now let's do my volume of my sphere. The volume of my sphere is this. Okay. So volume equals pi. Oops. I forgot the 4. 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. Now do we have the radius? Well, they told us the diameter was 18. So all the way across here is 18. But we need our radius, which is only halfway. So to find that, we go 18 divided by 2 will equal 9. So my radius equals 9. If I plug this into my formula, 4 times pi times 9 cubed divided by 3. Remember that 9 cubed also means 9 times 9 times 9. So let me get out my iPhone. I'll do it on this. One second. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go 4 times pi, which is here, times 9 cubed. On your iPhone, there's actually X and number 3 button. Okay, then I have that number and divide it by 3. 1 second, dear. Then we're going to take the volume of the cube and minus it off of the sphere. Okay? Okay, I'm fine. Almost done. So the final answer is 2778. So that's the volume of all that space that's not used up by the ball inside that box. Okay. Okay. What kind of calculator are you using, Haley? One that kind of looks like this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the way to plug this into your calculator, oops, I forgot, that should be divided by 3. Is, you can go 4 times pi, where's my pi button? There it is. Times 9 cubed. So I'm going to go to the 9 button here. Now some calculators have, you see where that says X with a 2 over top of it? Some calculators have an X with a 3 over top of it. But if it doesn't, you can go to something where it says Y to the X, or it might be like Y, it might have an open box or something like that. And you press that, and you press the 3. And you press equals. It will change it to this number. Okay? 91060. Okay? Oops. But then we also have to divide this by 3. So that equals 3054. So that's the volume for the sphere. Okay? Does that make sense, Haley?
Kinda, yeah.
Well, how do I get rid of the kinda? Is there something I could help out with?
No, I think just like I gotta go through it a couple more times.
Oh, okay. So then, to get my final answer, it'd be 5832 minus 3054. Because if you think about it, the total box, the total area in the box, or the volume in the box, is this. The total volume of the basketball is this. So if I have the box and I shove the basketball in, I'm going to be left with the remaining space there, which is 2778. In this case, it's inches squared. inches cubed. Okay. And let's do this one last one as a parenthesis, a group. Move that down there. I swear I started recording. Hopefully I did. Okay. So let's take a look here. I have a triangular prism. So here's my triangular prism formula. Okay? Base times length times height. So let's figure out what my numbers are here. What's my base? What's my length? What's my height? Who can tell me what my base, my length, or my height is? Base is 12, good. Length is 20, good. And that would leave my height to be 8. Correct. Then my formula is base times length times height. So 12 times 20 times 8 divided by 2. And I got 960, Trey got 960. Then B here states each person is considered to need 120 cubic feet. Can a family of 6 fit in the tent? So there's 2 ways you can complete this question. Can someone give me one of the ways you can complete this question? You could divide the answer by 6, good. So I can go 960 divided by 6 equals 160 feet cubed. What does that tell you? Is there enough room for 6 people? Yes or no? No. Right? The other way you could do this is I could go 6 times 180 and see what that number equals. And that says 1080. So since 1080 is bigger than that, that's also a no, right? How do we feel about volume? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs middle. Or let's go, I like to go out of 10. Go to 10 for me. 10 being perfect, 1 being potato. How do we feel about it? Okay, 7, go to 6, Emily's a 5, okay. Let me take a look at the questions for homework. Okay, so you have 2 sections of homework. One's homework, one's bonus. So you have these 4 questions to start, okay? If you want more practice, you can go on to here, okay? For anyone who rated themselves a 5 or a 6, would you like to go to a breakout room where you can start your homework and I can help out with any questions with you? Or would you like to start it, see how well you do with it, and then ask for a breakout room for extra help? Second option, so you want to start it, Emily, and then if you have some trouble with it, we can jump in a breakout room. Don't anyone log off yet, though. I want to do it quick. And Emily, I'm open to, so what do we answer? So, Trey, do the individual practice, right? Those 4 questions. And you see how I have extra? If you want extra questions to do, you can continue these ones, okay? But these are the ones that are, I want you to finish for homework, are these 4, okay? But don't log off yet. Where's my... Who are we missing from today's? I'll do this. We'll do a quick attendance check. Anyone have a suggestion for the question of the day? Oh, what just happened? Just wait a second, Andrew. Here, do your attendance check. And then if you are good for the day, you can log off. If you want to stick around and do some homework as I hang here, so if you have any questions, I can help you. Make sure you hand in your work via OneNote. Okay, that helped me out. Yeah. T, did you do the word questions as well? Oh, you did. Those are your word questions. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, really, Star Trek, Johnson? You're killing me. Okay, see you later, Andrew, once you've all done that. Ben, are you still around? Okay, make sure you do this attendance check for me. That's above you. Oh, you did it already. Who am I missing? No, you haven't. You haven't done that yet. Dominic's done it. Trey did it. So 11. Oh, so Haley, I'll pull up the formula sheet here, but it's also in your folder. So Emily, not Emily, or Haley. Haley, go to your reference pages, and I have the formula sheets, formulas up here. Okay, do you see that? I have questions, but it's some old homework from this morning. Sure, Ben. Do you want to go to a breakout room to answer it, or do you want me answering it right now in this room? Number 4. Which part of the homework? This question 4, or this question 4? The one up top? Okay. So I'm in your homework section, so I'll just do the work in here so you can look at it after. Fine. So first things first, let's redraw the triangles. Okay? I'll draw this one first. I'll put this one in blue, like this, so we know it's this triangle. I'm going to redraw that triangle like so. Okay? So that means this one's 4. This has 2 lines. So the dot, this has 1 line. And this is our unknown x. Okay? Do you have that written down first, Ben? Okay, now I'm going to redraw this triangle. Okay? But I'm going to draw exactly the same as this one. So it all makes sense in terms of numbers. So my 4 here you take a look, the 4 is between the 1 stripe and the 2 stripe. So that's the same place I'm going to put it here. Between the 1 stripe and the 2 stripe, I'm going to put the 4 right here. Okay? Then my 5, where would I put my 5? On the left-hand side or the right-hand side? Where would you tell me to put my 5? On the right-hand side. Good. Because it's between the 1 stripe and the dot. 1 stripe and dot. Did you have that before? Yes or no?